This is an educational video to help understand some basic aspects. I mentioned the subject of fullness and emptiness. The topic is very broad and goes into fundamental matters. Yet, we'll deal with them better directly in our practical workshops. Understanding what underlies this subject is crucial. This is a very special type of application of our perceptual possibilities. Firstly, because it opens the doors to double perception, and then because it defines very well, or better, it reminds us physically, of the difference between the tonal and natural parts that make us up. That is, between the emanations inside and the spaces that separate them. And it also reminds us of what we could do by applying a certain type of force, of relationship between attention and energy to these empty spaces. We start with an empty space. We always try to make things easy for ourselves initially. A single empty space defined by full spaces. By practicing this type of gazing, we will then see that in truth it's the empty spaces that define the full, and not vice versa. The thing is that we have been trained since birth to focus only on the full spaces of the world. And so we have this conviction that it's the full spaces that define it. But it's not quite like that. Also because, and this that I mention now is a key point, the world appears and disappears continuously. The matter of fullness and emptiness alternates also with respect to the continuity of the world, which is not at all as stable as it looks to us. It continually appears and disappears. It's the alignment that repeats itself. The fact that for us it has the type of continuity we know depends on the fact that we are only focused on the full aspect of the world. But if we train to pick up the empty spaces, the spaces in which there's no world, where it's not described, in which the alignment does its cycle, there we could enter into very special possibilities. Passages, attitudes, including the possibility of really entering the nagual. Let's start with the bases. Our emptiness is a space defined by this window. The columns, the wall and the ceiling, this rectangle. We look at the empty part, apply our pure attention to the empty part, defined by the full spaces, the attention that is not described, that is abstract. We see what is beyond, of course, but by applying non-gazing we stay in the empty space. At the same time, while we keep emptiness in us, we reach the surrounding full spaces with our body. Simplifying, we can say that from a distance we do a sort of tactile gazing of these full spaces surrounding the emptiness, as though with the body we were in contact with the full spaces, or as though these full spaces were depicted in something inside us, which copies or reaches out to them. This separation, this split attention and perception, produces the fact that with our emanations inside, with the type of attention produced by the inner alignment, we stay on the fullness, and with our pure attention we are on the emptiness. We start from a single empty space and learn to maintain this condition stable, in an easy and accessible way. Then we can start adding more empty spaces. So one here, and then also the empty spaces at the sides. There are many here. And so there are many full spaces too. Let's begin to separate, to produce a sort of controlled fragmentation of our totality, thanks to which we reach the ability to discipline, in an extremely precise way, the order of the emanations inside and the awareness of the difference between full and empty spaces that make us up. In the end, we can extend this perception of empty and full spaces, this fragmentation, in all directions, like a sphere, like the luminous egg, and we reach the ability to hold. Let's make an example. If we find ourselves in the woods, where there are thousands of empty and full spaces, we immediately expand ourselves, separating empty and full spaces, immediately, so to speak, and reach this double, expanded perception, in which we can also calibrate the space that separates the emanations inside. This then gives access to the possibility of harmonizing tonal and nagual in a very precise way. Until next time.